In this chapter, we're going to focus on the tools in DaVinci Resolve that are really useful when we're in the look creation phase of a job. I want to point a couple things out before we really start digging in. Number one, I'm starting here with the timeline that I finished up at the end of the chapter, Hero Shots in Action, Shot Matching. So these shots have all been matched together. They're ready to go through the look creation process. And one of the reasons why I prefer to get my shots matching before jumping right into look creation is looks are so reliant on the underlying image in terms of how bright is the image, how dark is it, where are the midtones, what kind of colors are in the image, how saturated or desaturated is the image. All of these choices have a huge effect on how your final look gets created. That if every shot in here wasn't already matched, I'd essentially have to create the look from scratch depending on the shot I'm looking at. Instead, because these shots are matched to one another, saturation is about the same in each shot. Brightness is about the same in each shot, and so if I come up with a look with one shot, I can use those settings as the foundation to start the look on these other shots and maintain continuity between them. It really makes the process a lot easier, even though it seems like I'm breaking this down in a very granular way, which I am because it works. Before we start digging into PowerGrade looks, the other thing I want to show you is how we are in a project, a new project, Chapter 13, Building the Look. But notice what's going on with our still pages. All those still pages we created from the previous chapter are gone. But look what is saved, these technical nodes and these creative looks. Remember, these are PowerGrade pages. You can tell they have a different folder icon than a typical stills page. Still pages are saved in an individual project. PowerGrades are shared between projects in the same database. So these technical nodes that I really created back in the chapter on secondaries are still flowing with us as we move through the rest of this training. Now, I've got a folder that I've created called Creative Looks, and I've got nothing in here. We haven't done look creation yet. We haven't done anything creative, but there's a kind of a shortcut here to help you start getting to looks very quickly. And if I open up my gallery view, we've gone through this project stills section down here. We've got our memories here. We talked about all of this in the chapter on secondaries. What I want to focus your eye is up here and specifically to DaVinci Resolve looks. And I've got these subgroups under this DaVinci Resolve looks heading. I've got desats and hipster and scene, skin, and warm. Every single install of DaVinci Resolve ships with this base set of basically prepared pre-built looks for you. If I right click, for instance, on warm green cross, I can display the node graph that created that, and you can actually use this to deconstruct the grades to figure out how did they create that look. And it's a great tool, a great way to spend an afternoon to help you understand how to take DaVinci Resolve really to the next level and use it in a very creative way. The challenge is we've got to get these looks out of this gallery view and into our still pages so that we can then apply them to our shots. And we'll do that by dragging the looks we want out of this upper group stills area down here into the project stills area. So let's go ahead and pull some of these creative looks. I can pull them all up here by selecting all. So crossfaded looks really interesting. Let's pull that in. Bleach bypass, clients ask for that all the time. Diffused, that looks interesting. Of course, who doesn't love the cheesy night safari? A warm grad or gradient. And let's try washed highlights. So you can see that I'm able to drag whatever it is I want, pull them down here into creative looks, and now I can use these looks that are basically isolated from the project until you drop them down here into the project stills section, and now they become accessible. By putting them here in creative looks, I've made them accessible to every single project in this database. If I just wanted to say, no, I don't want, this is just for this project. You know, Night Safari doesn't really belong here. It's just unique to this project where I think I might want to use it. Well, then I could grab this guy and put him here under the stills page. And now this still will only show up in this project, not in the other projects in this database. Let's close this out. And there we go. We've got our Night Safari sitting in here. So maybe, because as we look through this timeline here, if there's one shot that stands to be treated differently than any other shot, it's this one right here. right? There's no band playing with him. This particular setup is not a live performance setup, so this one could possibly do with a different treatment than the rest of these shots. So maybe we want to see what Night Safari looks like applied to this shot. So now let's try to preview this look over this shot, and the first thing I'll try is right-clicking and coming down to split screen, and I'm going to set this to gallery grades. And now it's showing me, if I Shift F, it's showing me my normal grade, and here's this grade replaced with this still here. That's what it would look like. Now the whole point of these first three nodes, is to firm up the image and get it ready to accept a look. What we're looking at over here is completely replacing these three nodes with these three nodes, and that's not what I want to do. Ideally what I want to do is append them to the end and see what they look like. So I could, if I want to, pull myself out of split screen mode, turn that off, and append this node graph, and now it's taking my basic setup here, nodes 1, 2, and 3, and then adding this to the end, and I can get a look at what that looks like. If I don't like it, I can undo it, come down to my Creative Looks folder and say, well, maybe what I really want is a diffused look, and then append that node graph, and now it's giving me a diffused look. Shift F, and then if I want to see what it looked like before, undo. And then if I want to see it again, redo, which is Command-Shift-Z or Control-Shift-Z. And so by undoing and redoing, I can get a before and after look using that particular power grade. Shift-F back. Right now it seems a little bit clumsy to work with these power grades and preview these power grades without applying them to the clip's node tree and then having to redo and undo. And wouldn't it be nice if there was an easier way of doing this? And there is. In fact, there are two easier ways. The first one we're going to look at next, which is working at the track level.